Welcome! In this series of short videos, we will introduce PowerBasic to those who have never used it before or even considered taking up programming. Today we will look at the topic of software updates. When and why should they happen, and are they a good thing? So what are software updates? When you obtain a piece of software, whether it's a free download or purchased, it is likely that it's gone through several iterations before the version that you now have. Ideally, each iteration or new version of the software will improve on the previous version in some way. Perhaps fixes for some functional error or the addition of new functionality. These updates can either be patches to parts of the installation or a complete replacement of everything that was installed, but hopefully retaining whatever configuration changes you may have made to the product in data. In the early days of home computers, prior to the widespread adoption of internet connectivity, updates to the operating system of computers was a complicated business, as it involved replacement of read-only memory chips on the motherboard. Later, with the move to holding the operating system on hard disk storage, then such updates could be applied by floppy disk and later CDs. Certainly at this point, you, the user, could choose when to apply such updates. While the Internet and later the World Wide Web did bring immense advantages, it heralded a move to an always online mindset. And for your convenience, applications could check online to see if there is an available update. With the latest evolution to software as a service, a subscription model is now much more common. This business model can sometimes mean you only get to use the software as long as you keep paying, monthly or yearly. The advantage to the user is said to be that you always have access to the latest version, and in some cases, this is automatically applied. Are software updates a good thing? Let's look at the reasons for making changes to software. First of all, fixing bugs. Next, extending the existing functionality of your software. And finally, adding new functionality. So, for fixing bugs. No one is going to complain when bugs get fixed, especially if the bug is so serious that it seriously impairs your use of the product. However, it can be frustrating when a new bug is introduced because of some new functionality being incorporated into the product. Or even worse, an old bug that had been fixed and subsequently appears again. Extending existing functionality. Using a software product that is periodically extending what it is capable of can be exciting and an aid to your productivity, but only if the extension is of some use to you and made in an area of the product that you make major use of. As long as the extension doesn't impinge on what you can currently do, then all is well. New functionality. The addition of new parts of a software product to enable it to do things it has never been able to do before tends to get a lot of attention. Shiny new stuff can bring in a lot of new users and revenue to a product. Again, where the new functionality has been requested by the existing users and works as advertised, then the new release can be a big success. When to stop? With any software product, there should come a time when the life cycle of that product has reached a point where the addition of any new functionality will detract from the original purpose of the product. Identifying when that point has been reached can be difficult for those too close to a product. However, stopping the addition of unnecessary functionality can be a good thing. With programming languages, one of the constant challenges is the urge to rewrite existing working code to take advantage of some new feature that has just been introduced. Or worse still, having to rewrite a functional area of your application because some aspect of the code that built it has been deprecated and failure to make the change will make your application impossible to maintain in the future. If the tools used to create software are constantly changing, it makes it much harder to gain a high level of expertise in using them. Balance. As with everything in life, balance is important. Software updates, either to the software you have written or to the software your application depends upon, can be a good thing in moderation. For programming languages, it can take time for programmers to learn all the features of a language. And when they do, they can produce some stunning applications. However, if the language is constantly changing, that point of expertise may never be reached. So think carefully before adding to your application, and allow yourself the time to pick the point at which you can say that it needs no further updates. Hopefully you'll consider these points when developing applications. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching.